This is Nicole from thismomentisgood.com. Today we're going to talk about how to fix the jog when you're knitting in the round and doing stripes. This is part of our color series. We're going to have a total of, I think, 6 blog posts on color, and which will progress to harder and harder, Fair Isle, Mosaic, well, not harder, just what people think is as advanced. Most color work is not hard at all. It's just that people don't know how to do it, and once they're taught, they really realize it's pretty easy. So last night I had someone contact me, one of my favorite loom knitters, excuse me, and ask, will basically say, help, how do I fix the jog in my knitting? And the jog, what we're talking about, is when you knit in the round, it looks like a stitch dropped. Well, this happens because you are knitting in a constant spiral, if you can kind of envision it. All right, so you're going around and around in a spiral. Your stitches are not stacking when you're knitting on the round perfectly on top of each other. So what ends up happening is what is called the jog. And that's where you look like your stitch dropped. So how do we fix this? How do we get to a point where it looks like that? I don't know if you can see it. I'm going to have pictures of it when I take the sample off in the blog post. So this is actually an accompanied video. It's not meant to stand alone. So the link will be below this video so you can go to the blog post and see the close-up pictures when this is off the loom. That'll be helpful in you seeing the difference between when you get this jog and when you start cleaning it up. We are not able to truly fix it. This happens in regular needle knitting and in loom knitting. It's not just a loom knitting problem. So, excuse my parrot in the background. It's spring and I think he's calling to the ladies. Okay, so how did I fix that? How do professionals get a cleaner look to their knitting? Well, what they do, all right, I've done 4 rows of white. So now I'm going to switch to red. I tried to use very contrasting colors so you'll be able to see. All right, the first row of the color switch, take the non-working yarn, lay it on top of your working yarn, and knit the first row, all the stitches in the round, not row, round. Pull this tight, okay? Because what you're trying to do is you're going to pull up this row over here of stitches underneath your last peg. Okay, so go around and knit all of your stitches in your round. Okay, I've reached the end of my round. This is the row where we do the illusion that we're fixing the jog. So what we're going to do is, again, the non-working yarn, which is white, because remember, we're working in red right now. So the non-working yarn is laid on top of the working yarn. Do you see that? See, I laid it on top. The white yarn is now on top of the... This will help pull up your row of stitches that is causing the jog. All right, so I laid that on top. You only have to do that this row. And then the first peg in the second round is skipped, which would be a slip 1 in regular needle knitting. It is a skip 1 because we're not slipping anything, we're skipping. A skip 1 in the second round of knitting. You see how I just went behind the peg and I knit peg 2. 1 is skipped, peg 2, do it from here. Hopefully you can see it still. Okay, back to what we were doing. We're on the second round, the first peg. The first peg is skipped. We have laid our working yarn and we knit peg 2. And then we just complete our round. And then you do that every time you make a color change. You knit one round. Your second round, you skip the first peg, knit the second peg, and then knit the rest of your round or whatever stitch you're doing. And you will get a clean color change like you're seeing underneath this peg. Again, click the link for the blog post, and I'll have really good pictures of what you're seeing and also what is happening here. You are actually getting less stitches. That's why it gives the illusion that we are no longer spiraling. Okay, thank you. Have a great day, and I hope this was helpful.